Welcome to Business World. I'm your host Siddharth, and on today's episode of BW Tech Talks, we are talking to Mr. Prakash Mallya, Vice President and Managing Director, Intel India. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me, and it's great to be here.
Let's start this conversation with the biggest topic that we have today, that is COVID-19. So, sir, how has COVID-19 impacted overall business continuity at Intel?
COVID-19 has been transformational in several ways across the world for all companies, consumers, small businesses alike, and for Intel it's no different. So a lot of it, what we thought in the business world as a black swan event, unreal, cannot happen, has happened. So the way I look at Intel's business continuity practices, we were actually ready for work from home even before COVID. But the big difference was nobody thought it had to be activated in very quick time. That's the big game changer, according to me. And nobody had planned for it, not at Intel, nowhere in the world. So that's the first part, I would say, is the big challenge. No matter your business continuity practices, you were not sure how fast you had to activate it until COVID-19 hit. The second part of it is, if you look at Intel, we are not only a 100,000 employee company across the world. And activating business continuity is a big challenge for all over, majority of the people working from home. It's also a challenge because we are one of the cutting edge innovation companies and also a manufacturing company. So we have a global supply chain, we have global set of customers and partners and suppliers. To activate business continuity practices to make sure that we serve our customers and partners globally with minimal impact was the second biggest challenge. And the third one would be, across the board, reimagine all the business processes, whether it is sales and marketing, or whether it's supply chain, or whether it's operations, all combined to be effective in these times. Those would be the broad challenges I feel that COVID-19 has taught Intel. And we have emerged stronger, I would say, over the last 3 to 4 months, based on my experience.
Sir, remote working, remote learning, this is the way things are moving right now. So do you think this is the new normal for the industry?
The biggest impact in that, when you look at India, would be how the flexible workforce translates into talent, which is geographically dispersed all around the country, getting tapped like never before. So for the first time ever, in my opinion, all the companies are not going to be geographically limited by the talent in big cities. So they can go hire the talent whichever city they would like to. That means the jobs will move to wherever the talent is versus the other way around. It's a huge positive impact for the country because we are one of the youngest countries. We are also software powerhouses for the world. So all of that digital transformation initiatives, which globally companies would go through, can be driven out of the talent residing in the country. So huge net positive. So that, I would say, is the work from home. The learn from home is also a very significant journey for all the students around the world, as well as in India. And data suggests that close to 300 million students in India are impacted because of the sudden crisis that hit, and they just were not able to go to the school or colleges. So I do see that the education landscape would evolve to online education being a critical piece of the puzzle rather than a nice to have. So that's why I feel education as a segment long-term would evolve to having a complementary model. You definitely will have classroom connect because the social connection is very important between teachers, parents, and students. And at the same time, you will have capabilities to really transform education using online education. And that is the merging of the two best worlds, which I see would again be hugely positive for India specifically, given we are such a young country. And that's why our initiatives like PC Pathshala are oriented towards helping parents, teachers, and students just to get into this new normal far more easily than they would have done in the past.
Mr. Prakash, in the beginning of the conversation, you said that we have this manufacturing facility which you are just, there is some sort of realignment or so. So could you tell us what are you actually making in the country, and is it a chipset manufacturing facility? Do they cater to global markets and all? And going forward, do you intend to build an additional facility to cater to global markets? As you said that India is the software powerhouse of the world. Your thoughts?
We are the second largest design facility in India outside of the US. We have had a very strong commitment to the country. We completed 20 years at Intel a couple of years back. So we are 22 years in the country, and we are strongly committed towards furthering the cause of ecosystem development, and absolutely we are committed towards supporting the growth of manufacturing ecosystem in technology.
So now this COVID situation is really unprecedented, and most of us, even our parents, haven't gone through this kind of situation.
That's true.
So what kind of opportunities do you think will come out of this pandemic, and where do you see technology, which is now really essential, will play a big role in overall economic growth?
I would say, yeah, I completely agree, Sid, on a situation that one has never witnessed. Our parents and grandparents, definitely not. So it is significantly, there are few ways I look at it. Number one, when you look at all the impact the pandemic has had, one has realized that technology is now more important than ever. In every vertical, you can look at as remote collaboration and work from home. You can look at education and learning. You can look at digital transformation and contactless solutions across the board. Technology becomes extremely important in that journey. The second, I feel, is it ultimately has fast-tracked the consumers and businesses' digital adoption by 5 years in the last 8 weeks or so. Accenture also talks about in their study on how the business practices around work from home or some of the digital practices adopted, we may never go to how it used to be before pandemic. It would be like a new normal for the next decade. So all of it is a significant realization for the entire industry. The opportunities I see is literally three. One is digital transformation can help all companies to really address the short-term challenges that they are facing on pandemic, but longer term emerge stronger from this pandemic. The second is when you look at any digital transformation, infrastructure becomes very important. And when you look at infrastructure, it could be the technology you use for working from home, the technology you use for building your cloud or data center infrastructure, the technology you use when you are communicating with each other in a secure manner. All, I'm talking about hardware, software, all combined. The kind of infrastructure you use would be a key determinant to how agile you are, how flexible you are, how scalable the organization is to meet the stated and unstated needs or the peaks and troughs of demand. The third is, I really think that how we work is going to dramatically change. It will move towards a modern workspace. So there is a combination of having a collaborative workspace which you can go to, but also at the same time use technology to be as productive as possible wherever you are, small town to big city. So I feel some of these trends will accelerate as it relates to pandemic and how we emerge from the pandemic.
So as you pointed out a while back, that a lot of next generation technologies like AI, cloud computing, data science and all, IoT and all are gaining traction, right? So, what role is Intel going to play in that revolution, in the next gen technologies?
When you look at some of the technology companies and their results, in early part of this year, it is a foregone conclusion that cloud is accelerating. And there is a reason for that, because you are operating in times where cash is a constraint. So in a cash constrained environment, how do you move from a capex driven approach to an opex driven approach? That is the first change that organizations around the world are coming to terms with. And that's why you see cloud accelerating. And all the digital transformation I'm talking about, digital infrastructure plays a very critical role. And we are an innovation and infrastructure company. So innovations like third generation Xeon Scalable platform, it has a very critical role to play in the data center and cloud infrastructure as an example. The client technology like vPro with security and manageability and remote capability has a great role to play on how work from home or learn from home evolves. Movidius, which is the endpoint AI technology, has a great role to play on how do we reimagine endpoint infrastructure for healthcare. So there are several ways we can contribute, and we are very committed towards helping all the organizations, the broader ecosystem, to accelerate digital transformation and then transform the country, which is our purpose. Our purpose in India would be to accelerate the digital transformation of the country using technology.
Okay, so are you creating jobs, or are you eliminating some jobs and creating jobs, or is it like, are you only creating jobs and there is no elimination of jobs?
I would say,
yeah.
Sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, because with the advent of new technologies, many semi-skilled and unskilled jobs get eliminated in the process. Like robotics have eliminated certain jobs at the manufacturing shop floors of various companies.
I would say it is a net opportunity for the country. I will explain to you how. The work from home opportunity will get to every part of the country. Think about it this way. Every organization, including Intel, was looking at only the big cities in terms of talent. Now, every company, global as well as local companies, no matter whether the talent is based in small town or a big city, they can hire the best talent and connect them through remote work capability. Think about the collaboration potential of that, just a minor switch, perceivably minor switch, but it's a transformative switch. So when you can go higher in every part of our country, a country which is extremely young and buzzing with software talent, think about the impact you can make. And no matter whether you are in remote city or a big town, given the digital capabilities, you have the same quality of learning. That is the other big impact that you can make. So longer term, I see the talent boat rising rather than jobs getting impacted.
So, Mr. Prakash, how is Intel leveraging technology to fight against COVID-19? And also, what does the collaborations with other tech ecosystem look like?
So, we have looked at this in three ways, I would say. First, how do we keep our employees and communities safe? Second, how do we serve our customers better and as best as we can in these times? Third, how do we raise all boats for the ecosystem? So I will give you examples in all of these three areas. First, our business continuity plan and the fantastic job that our IT team has done globally as well as in India has meant that we went from working from office to working from home literally overnight. Majority of our people globally, 100,000 workforce, are working from home right now, made possible by IT and the remote work capability that they are already built before the COVID hit. And that is a significant impact, I would say, for keeping our employees in their minds safe and their loved ones also safe. The second was, how do we keep our broader community safe? And we have done several initiatives on that front, and I can give you a few examples of that. One, our engineering teams have collaborated with the rest of the industry. For example, CSIR and IIIT Hyderabad, collaboration with Intel and the rest of the ecosystem has meant that we have using technology, embarked on a journey of risk stratification of COVID-19, especially for patients with other additional ailments, which makes it difficult to really fathom how the disease is going to react. Then you have got another initiative with NASSCOM and rest of the industry players on COVID-19 diagnostics, which means how do we build an infrastructure which can help us predict some of these pandemics in future. Again, a brilliant initiative which would outlast this pandemic, because the next one, I'm sure it's not a question of if it will come, it will definitely come some point in time, right? And this platform that we have built has been deployed in Karnataka as well as Telangana as example. Then we have got our own employees, including several of our team members who have engaged personally in making community stronger, whether it is through voluntary efforts, whether it is helping support some of the migrant families, variety of very inspirational activities that the teams have collaborated to done to make the community safer. So that's the second stream of effort that has gone through. The third stream has been how do we make our ecosystem and customers stronger and support them the best extent we can. There, one example would be PC Pathshala, which is an industry-wide initiative, because overnight 300 million students in the country, because of pandemic, could not go to school. They had to really only rely on online education. So PC Pathshala is this effort to help all the three constituents, which is the students, parents, and teachers, to best make use of online capabilities, tools, and technologies to drive the learning outcome the best they can. So our startup partners are there, content providers are there, OEM customers are there. So we all are marching towards this ambition of improving learning outcomes using online education. The other example would be the kind of work we have done specifically with our sales and marketing supply chain or broader back-end operations to engage with our customers. 3 weeks back, we had a channel event which was telecast globally. We did it in US, we did it in Europe, and we did it in Asia for our Asia customers and partners as well. It was a brilliant way to engage our customers and partners, have our executives speak directly to them, interact with them. We had demonstrations of new technology and products so that they can really sense what's coming in the pipeline. So all of these are great reimagination that we have gone through to help serve the cause of keeping employees safe, keeping our community safe and making them stronger, and helping our customers and broader ecosystem.
Yeah. Do you expect unprecedented growth from India in the next few years, even more than your existing markets?
I would think India is overall a vastly underpenetrated market in terms of technology. Even when you look at the smartphones to PCs, any vantage point, it's really underpenetrated. I'll give you a comparison. Ballpark, we have 1 billion phones, 400 million or so smartphones, and 60 million or so PCs, install base. So in terms of the overall population of the country, it is very small compared to several other mature markets. So the opportunity for technology to make an impact is very significant. So I see longer term opportunity of education and how learning evolves. And we believe PCs are the best device for learning. And I do see an opportunity of growth in the future. As the affluence increases in consumers, given that we are such a young country, we are one of the youngest countries in the world, that also means that the consumers will go look for better tools and technologies. It could mean gaming PCs, more thin and light, or modern PCs. It could be several different ways the demand could shape. Longer term, absolutely. There is a significant opportunity given not only the COVID as a backdrop, but in general on technology making an impact for the country.
So Mr. Prakash, Intel has recently announced the 10th gen Lakefield processors. What does the lineup look for the rest of the year? And any specific initiatives and product plans for the gaming segment?
We have a great set of products launched and coming through based on the announcements that we have made. And the most important one being the 10th generation series of products across commercial as well as consumer range. I'll talk about commercial first. For large enterprise, we launched 10th generation Core vPro, a range of processors. And they form the heart of the systems used by large enterprises. And what it offers as a value proposition is remote manageability, security, and very high performance. All of these are really needed when you're working from home. So it's a great value proposition for enterprise customers. We also launched the range of processors on 10th Gen Core family for consumers. It's the fastest mobile processors as an example. Then you also have desktop range in 10th Gen family catering to broader consumers as well as gamers. So overall, both for consumer, higher end usages like gaming, as well as mainstream usages like education, entertainment, these platforms are perfectly suited. We are committed towards pushing the boundaries of technology on what's possible, and you would see more such products and technologies come through in the second half of this year as well as in the future.
So, what is the evolution of IT industry post-COVID, and how is Intel going to leverage on that? If you can share that with us.
I would say it's going to be a very, very significant change in the future because of pandemic. I think it is going to force all the organizations around the world to really rethink what they stand for. So the purpose becomes important. Second, digital transformation becomes significant priority for all organizations. So using technology to leapfrog and come out stronger from this pandemic becomes extremely important. So you would say in several different ways it could manifest itself. One, the service delivery model would get more oriented towards cloud. How do you build the cloud becomes hence critical as well. How do you keep that infrastructure mobile, flexible, scalable? All of it has a very critical element to play in that. And the other aspect that I would see is just the reshaping and the opportunity of that digital transformation having a significant impact in India. Just think about this. There is never a time than now when Fortune 1000 companies would go through significant digital transformation projects because they have no choice to emerge stronger from this crisis. Second, there is no place on the planet apart from India which has got large scale, proven, capable talent in our global system integrators that can drive this digital transformation for Fortune 1000 companies. And when you bridge or put that together, it's a significant opportunity for India to really lead that transformation globally from the talent that resides here. So I do see that as a significant shift in terms of the broader ecosystem in the country as well, and what role it plays on talent build, skill building in the country as well. We play a role there, and many other companies play a role there too. And to answer specifically your question, what role would we play in this reimagined IT ecosystem is one, infrastructure would play such a huge and foundational role in digital transformation, and our tools, technologies, and platforms can really accelerate that. Whether you talk about third generation Xeon scalable platform, that is foundation for all our data center infrastructure, whether it is Optane DC persistent memory, which is a storage technology which really reimagines the storage in the data center infrastructure, whether it's cloud capabilities that we bring to bear with our customers and partners, whether it is vPro platform, which makes the remote work from home come alive in secure and manageable ways, there are several ways the infrastructure can get embedded. So that's the first foundation of digital infrastructure. The second is the support we provide to the ecosystem. It could be efforts like skill building that we have been, the AI related skill building efforts that we have embarked on in India is a great example of capability building for the country. The work that we are doing with startups, whether it's plug-in or several such efforts to raise all boats on startup capabilities, another such effort. PC Pathshala to improve the learning outcomes in online education using technology, another great example. So these are several ways in which we can strengthen the ecosystem to really come out stronger from the pandemic in India, and we have similar such efforts around the world too.